Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our demo today of the KeepTruckin' ELD and how it fits into the Comdata MyFleet program. So before we get started today, just a couple housekeeping items. Today's presentation is going to run about 30 minutes, followed by a Q&A session. So if you think of any questions during today's presentation, go ahead and put them in the Q&A box on the left-hand side of your screen, and we're going to get to as many as we can at the end. Also, if for some reason you need to leave today's presentation a little early, we're going to send out a recording of today's event about 24 hours after. And lastly, if the content is looking a little small on your screen, know that you can increase the size of the slide deck. Now for today's agenda. We're going to start by having Megan Pearl, Fuel Tax Manager with Comdata, walk us through the Comdata MyFleet program and how the KeepTruckin' ELD fits into that. Next, we're going to turn it over to KeepTruckin' Account Executive Pam Tavani, who's going to walk us through the driver ELD experience and then give us an overview of the Fleet Manager dashboard. Then we're going to have Megan Pearl walk us through how Comdata and KeepTruckin' can provide fully automated IFTA reporting. Then we're going to wrap it up with a Q&A session. We'll answer any questions you have about ELDs, the ELD mandate, or IFTA reporting. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Megan Pearl. Take it away, Megan.
Thank you, Austin. As part of the Comdata MyFleet program, which includes savings, capital, and compliance, Comdata has partnered with KeepTruckin' to provide you an easier way to buy, pay, and integrate ELDs into your operation. We chose KeepTruckin' for their ease of use and the fact that it is one of the most affordable ELDs on the market today. With this, we have also bundled KeepTruckin's ELD alongside our full-service fuel tax bundle, giving you a one-stop shop to keep your operation compliant. At this time, I'm going to pass this over to Pam with KeepTruckin' for her to walk you through the ELD solution.
So the first thing that we're going to cover is the product overview, and this is more focusing on the system, and we'll dive into how that connects to the driver experience for you. So here you can see, working left to right, we have an ELD, and they're about the size of a sandwich, hard ruggedized plastic, and this is one of the three components that we have to offer you in our system. And our system does comprise of these three particular pieces to make it a complete and compliant ELD solution. So the ELD here, again, size of a sandwich, it's hard ruggedized plastic, and this is what plugs into the vehicle via a cable into the engine's ECM port. The next thing that you see here is really just representing a smart device with the KeepTruckin' driver application open, and you can see here that the driver is logged in and they're using the log application. And then the third item here is the web dashboard for fleet. And it's a well-organized, very clear and easy to use grouping of data that is a fantastic way for fleet administrators, leadership, and different types of functions across your business to access data that they need to perform daily tasks. Let's also talk for a second about the fact that KeepTruckin' supports both iOS and Android, and we support both smartphones and tablets. And we are an FMCSA certified solution, so we are listed on the FMCSA website. And additionally, we do have a lot of work that we've done as a company regarding partnerships, integrations, and just in general, our modern technology. And it's been highlighted within Fleet Owner and Overdrive magazines. And there's also some other publications, but we're really proud of that. And there's discussion in those articles of our partnerships with fuel card integration, as well as other industry leaders from a software standpoint. Additionally, again, our compliancy. So electronic logs for drivers. So we spoke a minute ago, and the fact is that the solution that will make this compliant for the current ELD mandate is the fact that you've got an ELD plugged into the engine ECM port. You also have the ability for the driver to perform e-logging, and you do this through using the KeepTruckin' ELD plugged in via a cable, and then the smartphone or tablet running the KeepTruckin' application. And we're going to show you in just a second here what that looks like and the functionality and how the connectivity works. So what we have is an overview here of connectivity. And you might be saying, well, how does the log get from the ELD to the driver smartphone? So we offer with iOS, and that's a tablet or smartphone, the ability to connect with Bluetooth to the ELD. With Android, you'll get the opportunity to connect either USB or Bluetooth. And what happens here essentially is when you install the KeepTruckin' ELD, you plug this in via a cable. It connects to the back of the ELD here, and that cable then plug into the engine's ECM port, and you would mount your ELD on the vehicle's dash. And that is done in clear sight where the driver is able to see a GPS light as well as a connectivity light, and that's per mandate. And that's how we designed our ELD. So when it's plugged in, the driver will have the opportunity with an open Bluetooth connection on the smartphone and the open KeepTruckin' application running. They can connect directly to that ELD, again, via Bluetooth or USB if it's an Android. And then what happens is that driver will start their run. And in that run, this ELD will start gathering tremendous amount of data. It's everything from driver behavior, such as acceleration, turns, braking, and speed. Also, really importantly, of course, is the hours of service data. And that would be the e-logging component of the solution. Additionally, location services and IFTA jurisdiction data. We are compatible with all vehicles, so as I mentioned before, that cable will plug into the back of the ELD, and it will be a secure connection, and then it's plugged into one of these various engine ports. And when you order ELDs from KeepTruckin', we will supply the cable with every ELD that you order to one. So we'll switch gears and let's talk about the driver experience and the workflow. And it won't be a training so much as just to give you an idea from a bird's eye view how the driver will go through this process of logging and sending data to the DOT. So the driver has their smart device, it's open, they've got the login completed, and they're inside their application. The logging screen, they're going to tap no vehicle, it will drop a list of vehicles that they can choose from, and that would be preloaded into your dashboard from an administrator side. Once they tap on that vehicle, it will start connecting to the ELD, and it's making that association here. You can see it go from gray to green when that connectivity is met and the ELD is working directly with the smart device. The next thing the driver might do is just go ahead and change their duty status. So they'll go from this side to the left side of the screen, tap the off duty, change it to on duty, and we offer 3 duty statuses, of course, off duty, on duty, and sleeper berth. And of course, sleeper berth may not apply to everyone, but it does work for our trucking industry. So tapping on duty, and then that will save. Next, the driver will create a vehicle inspection, and they'll move from the log banner over inside the same banner into the DVIR. They'll tap that particular button. It will drop a list of potential defects, and the driver can go in and use their fingertip and just tap along the left side there and click into any boxes for potential defects. And then there's also an area to enter commentary or a narrative right below that particular defect. And then they'll save it. There's also an opportunity for the driver, as you can see here, to add a trailer manually. They would type in the trailer number, and then they can tap this little plus sign and add or remove trailer defect. Next thing you know, they are driving, and the driver is going on their run, and what happens to the KeepTruckin' application is it will lock the app when the driver is in motion and showing as a driving status, which then starts at 5 miles an hour. So when the driver hits 5 miles an hour in that vehicle, the ELD can sense that. It will lock the KeepTruckin' application because at that point, the driver is unable to modify anything in their application, which is their e-log. And then you can see here, this clock is just representing how much time is left in that driver's cycle of driving. And we also show a quick overview here of another shift, brakes, driving cycle clock that is a nice overview for the driver in case they need to do a double check in regards to what's left on their shift. They also have the opportunity in our application, as illustrated here on the left, of adding a alert through their menu themselves and programming that to give them alert when they're approaching a violation. And then here on the right is really just an illustration of a cycle that's representing the need to have a 30-minute break, the requirement. And so there's a warning that pops up like an alert to let the driver know, hey, you need to take your break. If they've already taken it and they've forgotten to input it, they can tap into the log with their fingertip where that, where they need to add the break, and they can enter the break time, save it, and if they are within their hours of service, they will get a clear log, and then that break alert banner will go away. We also offer form and manner error alerts, and for example, this driver has forgotten to add a shipping document, and in this case, they can either type in not applicable, and that will auto-populate going forward, or they can take a snapshot, like a photo with their smart device of the shipping document, save it, and then attach it to their log. And not only will it stick with their log, but it'll also flow to your dashboard as well. We also, just taking kind of a minute here to explain, we also offer the ability for drivers to take photographs of any documents that are pertinent to their job. So it could be hopefully not a citation. It could be a scale ticket. It could be potentially a photo of a damaged pallet. Any of those items are completely applicable. They can take a photograph, attach it to their log, and that will also flow to your dashboard. A couple of special driving instances the driver can use as well, and you would actually enable these as the administrator on the dashboard on the back end. You can push out the ability to every driver or select drivers to have the ability to enable personal conveyance or a yard move, or both can be added to a driver. And this would be found in the duty status screen. So they have the ability to use either one of these. And then, of course, this little smart reminder will, once it's enabled, will show this little banner, and they can just disable it right there with one tap of a finger. Also, a very handy clock, I showed this a little earlier. If they tap the right corner in their log screen, this little recap cycle, break, shift, and cycle clock will slide out, and then they can see what's left in their shift. And then lastly, the DOT inspection mode. They can tap the left corner of their application, drop this menu, tap DOT inspection mode. And what happens next is really going to be reflective of what the officer needs in that inspection process. So they may just want them to send the logs to the DOT. So the driver would not even need to click begin inspection. They can tap on send logs, and it will give them an option to either send it via an email address or print them by sending them to a Bluetooth printer. If they do want to see the logs right there, they can tap begin inspection. And when they tap begin inspection, our device app will go into inspection mode. And that will show in the US, the inspector 7+1, which is the 7 past, 7 prior plus 1 current, and in Canada, 14+1. And that'll go into DOT inspection mode, and the driver will be able to have the inspector see. And then lastly, just to talk a little bit about how we support our drivers, we really do an amazing job. Drivers love KeepTruckin'. We offer 24/7 coverage, so we follow the sun in regards to the timing. We have coverage to cover every time zone, and we also have over 50 support reps manning the phones and our email. So there's two levels. There's email and telephone. This is primarily what drivers use ongoing, and they absolutely love our support. We strive for a one-call resolution every time, and then also the response time 2 minutes. So an average of 2 minutes to respond and resolve an issue for a driver. And of course, as we all know, sometimes that can go a little bit longer, but fantastic support. And I can share with you that drivers love KeepTruckin's. So based on the support that we provide, we are rated independently by drivers and administrators every day. And this is just a small snapshot of the amount of reviews today. We have more than this, of course, 4.8 and 5.0 respectively. And this just shows you independently what drivers are saying and how they feel about how not only our application works, applies to their job, but also how easy it is to use and our support. We're very, very proud of this. With that, we'll kind of switch gears here and go over to our dashboard for fleet. And I'm going to give you a very quick overview of our dashboard. And when you log in, this is what you see. This is our overview. We call it our audit page overview. So basically, when you come in for the day, you can go ahead and log in, pull it up. And this is a bird's eye summary, you know, your compliancy, which gives you details on the logs with hours of service violation, form and manner errors. Going to the right here, the safety score. This is around driver performance. And then over here, vehicle utilization, so idle versus drive time fuel consumption, DVIR summary, so you can click in here to the different statuses of DVIR. And then identified and unidentified driving events, so if there's a disconnect with the driver's smart device and the ELD, we still record all of that data. And so just a side note about the ELD that we manufacture, our ELD will record up to 4 gigs of data. And so that is equivalent to roughly 4 to 6 months of driving activity. And it's really important for you to know that if there is a failure, like a battery discharges on a smart device, which definitely can happen, then the ELD will continue recording that drive time. And when that driver reconnects to the ELD will attempt to push that drive time to the driver. And they have the opportunity to accept it. And should they not, you as the administrator would have the opportunity to then go and reassign it to that driver. Very convenient. And then last here, there's a bird's eye overview of a U.S. map. You can view this in satellite. And then this is one of my favorite options here is the ability to have a summary screen of every driver and their duty status just at a high level. And you can also click into these. And just a quick mention, on any of these little cards on this overview page, you can see that these are hyperlinks. They highlight when I click on them, and that will take you to that specific report. So just kind of doing an overview of the anatomy of this dashboard. So up here to the right is the Administrator tab, Reporting, and Dashboard. And this is where we are right now, and that's the overview page. Then if you go to the left, it's segregated into 2 groups of information. There's the driver section and the vehicle section. And keep in mind that everything that's populating these little tabs is also stored in the reporting area, but we make it a flow. It's a workflow that's a lot easier for someone to use, so they don't have to dive in through layers of spreadsheets and flat files and data to get what they need. They can just simply click over here. So let's look at the administrative tab here. And this is where administrators can add drivers. They can add additional fleet managers. They can also deactivate drivers, and this will be the page that shows the inventory of both active and deactivated drivers. And a little note here about fleet managers. So this is really just a generic term, but this can mean that you want to give your shop manager access to logs and DVIRs only. You might want to give your finance person access to logs and IFTA only. So it's a very convenient way to set up customized login and password access for people that don't need the full access to the dashboard. Your vehicle inventory is stored here, so you can add your fleet, you can add and deactivate, you can create groups, and this is a huge favorite of pretty much every sector of our customer base. You can create a group for each terminal. You can create a group for a region, and then the terminals each have a group inside of that region. You can layer it any way that you want. Super, super accessible and very, very precise way to drill in on data about your fleet. Company updates, maybe you've got multiple DOT numbers, maybe you want to just set a cycle rule for the whole fleet. That can be done here. The ELD inventory, so this screen will show you an inventory of all your physical ELDs if you've got a pending order. Another huge favorite and a new release are alerts. So if you have a driver that you're really wanting to manage closely and you want to manage if they've got DVIR defects, maybe it's a vehicle that's having a lot of issues, you can set an alert up for that vehicle. If you wanted to set up an alert for hours of service violation, you can set that up. That could be for all drivers, it could be for one driver, and then as well as vehicle fault codes. If you are concerned about getting vehicle fault updates, you can set that up as well. Really great feature. And for developers and the folks that like to do the integrations for your company, there is a way to create an API key, and really this is like a puzzle piece to plug in our GPS data to other systems that you might be using in your business that will allow that data to pull over into your system as well. So leaving the administrator tab, and you can see that's kind of the heartbeat of the dashboard. This is the reporting screen, and this houses your logs, IFTA, scorecard, DVIR, vehicle utilization, just location history, lots of different reports. Everything's housed here. These are hyperlinks. It will take you right in to the log data. It can be sorted by date, group, drivers. You can export that into a file, use it as an attachment. And that is concluding the upper right corner. Over here, a couple of highlights. So the driver area is more geared to things that impact the driver and things that they would have show and populate on the screen because they are in the vehicle. Could be logs, scorecards, location history, documents, and also there's a messaging functionality within our dashboard. And this message functionality will allow you to track message history between you and your driver. You can send out group messages. You can send out individual messages. It's very convenient, and it goes from our dash to the KeepTruckin' application, so it does not impact the driver as far as their text messaging account. Also, logs, again, the reporting is available to you here. You can search by date, driver, log type, maybe logs violations. Scorecards gives you scorecard on each of the drivers. You can look at location history here, and then I talked a little bit about documents. And so documents are a fantastic way to track fuel receipts. Here's an example of a document from a scale ticket because the driver took a photo, and I don't know if you can see their jeans over there. They probably set it on their knee, took the photo, attached it to their log, and then it flows to you as an administrator. So I'll jump down to vehicles. So you've got an inventory of, actually you also have an inventory of drivers, you also have an inventory of vehicles. So down here you'll have an inventory of where they're located, and you're also going to see a little bit more about the city or the lat and long, the last time they were there, the driver themselves. You can click into their profile. I'm looking at them right now. Shows me some data at a bird's eye view about what they're doing, and their logs, their DVIRs, trip reporting, just a really nice general overview. And it'll associate the vehicle to the driver based on the app connecting with that particular ELD. DVIRs are also located here. You can sort these different ways. Location history, I think this is a really important thing to take a look at. Grab vehicle 303, beautiful breadcrumb trail. You can see here that you can see every minute we've dropped a breadcrumb trail. If I click into that breadcrumb, I can see the driver, I can see where they were located or lat and long. I can see the speed. And then also when I'm clicking on that, I can see on the slider bar exactly what time it was when they were at that particular location. Or I can run the slider bar and I can see where a driver was at a particular time of day. Utilization reporting would be idle versus drive time fuel consumption. Driving events, which allows you to go in and take an unidentified driving event and assign it to a driver as an administrator if the ELD sent the message
Thank
and
you,
the
Pam.
driver
That was
declined
great.
it.
Now I'm going to turn it over to Megan Pearl for the moment you've all been waiting for, fully automated IFTA. Take it away, Megan.
Thank you. As I said earlier, we've bundled our full-service fuel tech solution with KeepTruckin's ELD solution to make Comdata your one-stop shop. What this means is you will have a single point of contact within our fuel tax department, compiling your taxes for you. We can even file on your behalf if you would like us to. With this, you also get full audit support. What this means is when you get a notice of you being audited, you will send us that letter and we can take it over from there. You can have as much or as little involvement as you would like. At this time, I'm going to walk you through part of our fuel tax system so that you will know what it looks like when you log in. This first page right here is the login screen. You'll be given your own individual username and password that you'll have to change upon the first time you log in. Once you log in, you'll be taken to this home screen. This home screen will show you a rolling 18 months worth of taxes. At the point that the taxes are no longer on this screen, they will be in our archive site that your fuel tax representative will have access to. With this screen, you'll be able to select either the month or the quarter that you would like to choose to work from, and then you'll be able to pull your reports and look at your data. I'm going to show you some of the reports that we file so that you'll know what those look like when they come to you as well. The first one is something I believe you've all seen, and it's the fuel tax calculation sheets that each state requires. We will send you this upon you finalizing your fuel taxes at the end of each quarter. This is the second half of that sheet. Here's a list of sample reports that we can provide for you in your fleets that will give you different sorts of information. We can go over these with you when you sign up for the fuel tax service, but I am going to show you a few of the most popular ones. This first report is what we call our MPG1 report. So this will show you by tractor number the miles and the gallons along with their average miles per gallon for that month. We can provide this for you by month or by quarter. This next report is what we call our T1 report. Our T1 report will show you by jurisdiction how many miles and how many total gallons were consumed. It will also show you what gallons were paid at the pump and which ones were not, so that you'll know if you have a negative or positive balance in each state. The final report I want to show you is something that a lot of fleets use for our leasing companies or people that are leased onto their fleets. This is what we call a driver settlement report. So this can tell you by owner of the truck how much they owe in taxes for each quarter. These reports are generally used as your check and balance report if you have to file on behalf of all drivers on your company, but then you require them to pay you back. We can also, with this, provide you what we call we can also provide you the individual reports so that you can give those to your drivers as well. So how to get started. You can either call Comdata at 1-800-COMDATA, or you can go online to smallfleetsolutions.com, and one of our sales representatives will be glad to help you through the process to sign up for our ELD and fuel tax solution.
Thank you, Megan. That was great. So now we're going to open it up to a live Q&A session. So if anybody has any questions about the KeepTruckin' ELD, the ELD mandate, or IFTA reporting, go ahead and put those in the Q&A box now. We're going to get to as many as we can. And also, I'd like to introduce Travis Baskin, who is our resident ELD mandate regulation expert, who's going to hop on to help us answer a few questions here as well.
Hey, everybody.
So
Thanks, Austin.
It looks like this first one's actually for you, Travis. So when is the actual ELD enforcement day? I've been seeing a couple different dates around. I've been seeing December 18th and April 1st. So what is what in that area?
Sure. So the actual enforcement day will be December 18th of this year. Earlier this year, and I know that there's been a lot of confusion about it, earlier this year, the CVSA and the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration had announced that there was a change in the way that the out-of-service criteria was going to be implemented with regard to the ELD mandate. Essentially, all they've said is that they will not put a driver out of service for simply for an ELD violation. If you don't have an ELD, then you won't be put out of service until April 1st. However, if you are found without an ELD from December 18th forward, you will be cited. You will be given a violation, and that violation will be logged, and it will affect your CSA score. And you are subject to civil penalties from the FMCSA of up to $1,200 a day, $12,000 in total, and specific jurisdictions within the state of California could assess a fine of up to $1,500. So you're not out of the just because you won't be put out of service does not mean that the ELD mandate is not going to be enforced. It will be enforced, and if you're found without an ELD after December 18th, you run a very high risk.
Awesome. Thank you, Travis. And it looks like this next one is for you, Megan. So how much does the ELD cost, and what is the monthly charge? So can you walk us through the packages that Comdata is offering?
Sure. We have a couple of different packages. We have one where we allow you to purchase your device up front so that you own that outright. With that, you can either get the starter package that makes you just ELD compliant, and that's $20 a month, or you can combine it and bundle that with our IFTA service, and that's $35 a month. We also have a one-year contract that you can do with us, and it's the same price.
Thank you. And speaking of IFTA, the next question up is, can it track the motor fuel transporter monthly reporting?
The motor fuel monthly reporting, if you partner with Comdata, then you would have our Comdata fuel card, and we would get you that monthly reporting via our card website. If you do not have our fuel card and you have another fuel card provider that you could upload into the system, then you could get that report as well.
And Travis, let's send this next one over to you. Can you see a breadcrumb trail of the driver throughout the day? And what is the time period between the locations? So can you walk us through when those pings will come through?
Absolutely. Thanks for that question. Yes, you can see a breadcrumb trail on the Keep Truckin' app. We provide GPS location every minute that the vehicle is in motion. And on your back administrative dashboard, your back office administrative dashboard, you'll be able to see it on a map, and you'll be able to track the movement of that vehicle throughout the day, including where specifically it is, which way it's heading, the speed at which it's traveling, and the exact moment that data is captured. So yes, every minute you'll get up-to-date GPS location data, and it's very, very easily accessible through the Keep Truckin' dashboard.
Great, and another one for you, Travis. How long can I wait to order to be compliant? Am I able to wait until mid-December, or what does a realistic timeline look like?
That's a great question. So the answer really is not any longer. Waiting from here on out is only going to cause more and more problems. We are experiencing a strong spike in demand right now because of the ELD mandate coming through and a constriction on supply. Right now we have about a 7-day backlog for orders, and we only expect that to get longer and longer. Beyond that, there are a number of issues with driver training, with installation, and a number of other onboarding issues that fleets and drivers are going to have to navigate. And the fact is that we're running out of time. The holidays are coming up, and there's going to be less and less time to devote to getting ready to implement an ELD solution. So my recommendation is that if you're still looking for a solution, you need to make a decision fast. We really need to have something in place immediately. It's as a friend of mine, John, likes to say, implementing a solution for the ELD compliance is a lot like planting a tree. There's the best time to ever plant a tree was 10 years ago. But the second best time to plant a tree is today. The best time to have implemented a solution for an ELD is about 2 months ago. But the second best time is right now. So continuing to wait is only going to cause more headaches.
Thank you, Travis. And the last one that we have today, and I believe it's the last one that we're going to have time for, is this. It's so last week, or the filing last week was a huge headache. How long does it take to get running on this fully automated IFTA? Would you be able to help me for the next quarter? Let's throw that one over to you, Megan.
Yes, we can definitely help you for the next quarter. Even if you don't have an ELD in your truck today, we could get the paper logs or the paper DTRs from you, and then we could go ahead and start implementing the IFTA today. We can also get your fuel receipts or fuel report from your fuel card provider. What we would do once the ELDs are active is we would set up that feed from KeepTruckin's so that you no longer had to send us those paper reports. So we could go ahead and do that for you.
Excellent. Thank you, Megan. So with that, I'd just like to thank everybody for joining us again today. It was a real pleasure to talk about the Keep Truckin' ELD and how we can help you comply with the upcoming FMCSA mandate. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.